Yo, what's up? How y'all doing today? Welcome back to Dell TV. This is your favorite deluxe sheet right here. And check this out, people. Hello, what's up, Dell TV shirt? Our very own Dell TV shirt. Thank you to my beloved favorite, one of my dearest friend, Yabet's Arcalo. I hope I said that name right. I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry, man. You best be watching this and I messed up your name. Don't take it personally. I get you. I got you. Actually, I know what it's like to have people mispronounce your last name, even first name all the damn time. I used to hate that, man. When I was in high school, no one, even college too, but in high school, they take attendance, the first day, and people, teachers call your name. In college, you have eye clickers, you used to, press a button and they take attendance. So they call my name no professor, no teacher could ever pronounce my damn name right. That's why, I used to just, that's why the Dell TV comes from Dell. Personally, that was a big story. I went through a period of, insecurity. I hated my name because it sounded so, freaking back in the country, so I asked people to, call me Dell. But also, it's, it's just, it's easy, too, people mess up my damn name all the damn time, Deluxey, Deluxe, all the time. I'm just, you know what, call me Dell. But now I'm just hell no, that is my name. That is my name. I ain't gonna change my name so you could get it right, Say a couple of times, you'll get it right, started having this attitude and be like, I didn't come to this country for you to, mess up my name, you're gonna get that shit right. But yes, thank you, Bats, for making this shirt. For anybody who doesn't know, which is a lot of people that's watching this, Bats, he's a young, rising entrepreneur. He has started his own printing, making shirt, I don't know what you call it, shop for, making, pressing shirts, making, putting designs on a shirt and selling whatever you call it. So, it was very, very thoughtful enough to make a shirt for me. I love this. I'll show y'all. Even though it's a little, I love that it's he made a little baggy too. Look, I can go to bed, just in this, be mad comfortable. I have breathing rooms, even if I want to cuddle with somebody, I can sneak somebody into the shirt. I have mad rooms, so ladies, do you want to trap your man and don't let him get out? Get a baggy shirt. Put him in your shirt. Don't let that dude out. Oh shit, I should have made a video before Valentine's Day. It would have been perfect. Trap your man in your shirt. But yeah, so I swear to God, man, I always get off topic. But today, ladies and gentlemen, mostly ladies because y'all know in a second. Hold on, let me take a sip though. I swear, man. Coffee, the right blend of coffee, chai, tea can just give you a boost of whatever you need at that moment. But yeah, so today the topic I want to talk about menstrual cycle. Guys, who are kind of let me shut this shit off. She's talking about periods and stuff. Nah, hang on, y'all got moms, sisters, girlfriends, and aunts and stuff in your life, in your home. So that would be beneficial to you. So hang in there. Don't close this shit off. I'm watching you. So yeah, and also it'll be another way to so y'all be educated a little more about what we go through on a monthly basis, or on a regular basis for women that are on birth control and stuff. So yeah, so menstrual cycle, right? I decided to make a video because it was requested of me because I'm very connected to my menstrual cycle, which is something I take pride in, and I'm very happy about because there was a time I used to hate my menstrual cycle because I talked about this in couple of my last videos because I grew up very tomboyish and with masculine values. So I always used to hate that, this shit we go through on a monthly basis. I always used to be damn, why can't I be a guy? Why wasn't I born a guy? You don't have to go through shit every day, no pain, no cramping and all that shit. But then, the more I started tuning into my body and started listening to the wisdom that it had to offer, I've started realizing the hidden wisdom, the hidden knowledge, and the hidden gift that it also brought with it. So menstrual cycle. So I'm reading this book right now. This is any readers, any lovers of human body and the wisdom it has to offer. I recommend this, especially women, because as the name implies, I'm sorry, it's backwards because of the camera. Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom, and it's written by Christian Northrup. She is a physician. She's a doctor, but she's a doctor who also believes in the holistic aspect of medicine, not just the conventional aspect of medicine. So she looks at all the symptoms and everything that people go through, especially she works closely related to women, as almost kind of like as a symbolic representation of something deeper going inside. So in this book, she talks a lot about, there's a big section that she talks a lot about women's menstrual cycle and how it's connected to the theme of creativity and just, a lot of deeper aspects. You're creating your, that's our dog, Kari. There you go. Kari! Kari! What's up? What's up, Kari? She was on a period, she was on a period earlier this week too. I was surprised about that too, but not at the same time. Dogs and animals do get their period too, but not monthly. But I think she doesn't get it monthly. It's kind of like annually, or kind of I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. Something to look into. Great. She's trying to pee, so let's give her some privacy. Yeah, nah, she's not peeing on the floor. She has some pads and everything there, so. Yeah. What was I saying? Okay, hold up, people. I think she's trying to get out. Her being there and looking at me, giving me a Hassan is yo, I'm trying to get out. Let me out. So let her out. What, you want to get out? Mwah. Okay. Where were we? Let's think of this process that happens when you're menstruating, right? So before, during, after when you're menstruating. So you have your whatchamacallit. So you have your ovaries, right? So you have your ovaries. I swear it got me. See, every time I lean back and forth, this is making this sound. But okay, let's think of it in that symbolic sense. So you have your ovaries, and then fallopian tube, and then you have your uterus. So every month, right? So the cycle happens every 28 days, the same as the moon cycle. That's why your menstrual cycle is very much connected to your moon cycle, because it naturally, it actually, in natural essence, it mimics that cycle. Just as the moon, from the new moon, it grows, and then full moon, and then it decreases, it wanes, and then just as in the 28 days, it has a cycle, the exact same process gets mimicked in our own bodies, women's bodies. I'm sorry, guys. I wish, sometimes I'd be yes, I have the moon in my stomach, ovary, lower stomach, abdomen, whatever the issues, I'd be I have the moon hidden in my stomach, you know what y'all mean. So yeah, so our body naturally mimics this cycle, and the more I started embracing it and looking at it from this symbolic perspective, and I'm just shit, I started embracing my natural cycle and my menstrual cycle, because I'm damn, this is another profound and a very a profound natural way that I'm connected to Mother Earth, and I'm connected to the natural cycle. And how can I not embrace it? How can I be not proud of it? Because it shows that women, human beings, that we are so connected to Earth, and because we come from the Earth, we are part of all that's going on. But women especially, we are so connected to this natural moon cycle, and it made me be proud of that aspect. And I think women, we should own this aspect more, But yeah, so look at this process. So what happens, right? Look at it from this perspective. So you have your ovaries and your fallopian tubes and your uterus, right? So every 28 days, so every cycles, so your ovaries, you create the egg. So mind you, the word creation. So you create egg, and it stays there, right? And then so while you're creating the egg, and the egg is developing, and the uterus starts to line. So it starts to have this line around it, because so so the whole point of like the reproductive process is birth, you know, like childbirth. It's preparing for the potentiality that of having a baby, of bringing life into earth. So start to line up around the uterus, excuse me, because you know it serves as protection. You know, when if the egg does get fertilized with the sperm and you have it in your uterus, that serves as a protection, you know, around for the baby. And you know it starts to line up, and then let's say the egg, you know, doesn't get fertilized with the sperm, which is, you know, a lot of times, like, you know, it destroys itself, you know, which is the death process. So before you have the birthing process of the egg, and if it doesn't get fertilized with the sperm, it destroys itself. You know, that's how you get period every 28 days, you know. Freaking Mother Nature, you know. I mean, thank you, Mother Nature. I should be more grateful that I'm making this video about embracing this process of this natural cycle. So yes, and so like, do you see what happens? It's this cycle of birth, and then your body prepares yourself. So preservation, so birth, and then preservation, and for that baby, and then death. So these process of, you know, life. Like birth, death, it's being mimicked in our body from a monthly basis, right? So let's say the egg does get fertilized, right? Let's say, you know, you get to that point where, you know, you want to have a baby, or, you know, whatever, like pregnancy happens, and then sperm does get with the egg, and so that death process doesn't just go away, you know. So now you're already mimicking that process of birth, death in your uterus, so that death process only gets delayed. Because think about it. So when the sperm gets fertilized with the egg, so now all of a sudden, like, you giving, you know, like, that's what your uterus has been like waiting for the whole time. Now that's like a aha moment, like, you know, now all of a sudden your uterus is like, shit, you know, I've been, you know, bleeding every month. Now all of a sudden, yes, you know, now I can have a baby and, like, you know, birth this baby. So the embryo gets developed into a, you know, baby, and then push it out, labor, you know, the baby comes out, becomes a toddler, and then an adult, and then, you know, it becomes this, you know, beautiful ass people, and then, you know, and then they get married, whatever, like, you know, that's another story, and then they get older, and then they die. So that same death process that happens, you know, when you bleed, that menstrual cycle, if it gets fertilized with the sperm, it just gets delayed. That death process happened, you know, like, when the person dies, you know. So eventually, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, this aspect of birth and then preservation and death, and it's a natural part of life, but it also the part of that gets mimicked when we have menstrual cycle. So not only it's just like, oh, you're just bleeding every month, you know, screw this, I have PMS, we all complain, but when we think of it in this way, it's a creative process. It's connected to creation, creativity, and all this, and which is, you know, like, which is no wonder that your menstrual cycle and your reproductive system and all that process is connected to your like sacral chakra and your root chakra. So root chakra is all about being grounded in this earth, so that makes sense. And your sacral chakra is connected to your creativity and your sexuality. So, amen. Is that coincidence? You know, like, it's all about creativity, and that, so your sacral chakra is connected to, like, all your reproductive organs and stuff. So where does my video come in? So bear with me, people. So usually, like, women, we complain about menstruation cycle, right? Oh my god, why do we have to, like, have it all this? But I used to complain too when I was little. Like, I couldn't give anything to be a guy, right? I was just like, what the hell, you know? I have to deal with this ish every month, you know, like, my freaking uterus is being, like, freaking, you know, like, cramped up, it's being, like, turned upside down, I'm in pain, and whatchamacallit, I'm just, like, freaking bleeding every month, and I'm just, like, so irritated, and, you know, like, it's not just the process of, like, just bleeding that 5 days, it's before you go through PMS, and I used to freaking hate it, and I'm like, part of me was just like, only if guys understood me, and a part of me is just like, I wish that, you know, like, guys could be in our body and, like, experience this on just for 1 month, so y'all would understand what the hell we women go through on a monthly basis, so y'all would have a little more compassion, you know, and, you know, like, not when people, you know, girls be acting, they'd be like, oh, are you PMSing, like, I mean, dude, like, shut up, like, what you say, like, I mean, I wish, man, like, I'm looking for that time in the future they, you know, like, invent or discover this ish, like, consciousness implant, you know, they have time travel. I wish, like, you know, I'm looking for that day they have, like, consciousness travel, where, like, you know, you can literally put someone's consciousness mind into somebody else's, like, whatever, and they can, like, experience, you know, like your reality, like, you know, like they can be in your head and like experience what you experience. I am waiting for that to have a husband, like, you know, my husband, like I will put him in that ish and then be like, dude, come here, you know, you need to know what at the hell I go through on a monthly basis. But but yeah, it's other things too, you know, y'all can like, and I used to complain, I can, you know, I go through this ish and then guys can just like, you know, stand up here and I have to like freaking like, you know, scoot down and all that shit. But yeah, but the more I start embracing myself and also my femininity and what comes, and always looking at the things as a gift, not as curses, I started being like, shit, you know, like, I don't want to be a guy. I love being a woman. You know, like, any argument, like, even if someone doesn't want to argue with me, like, I ask a guy, like, can you bleed for 5 to 7 straight days and survive? There you go. I won the argument. I mean, there wasn't even an argument, but I won it. You know, like, we women can bleed for 5 to 7 days and still survive like a fucking bouse. And that, my friends, is amazing. I think so, at least. And also, like, you know, and I'm directly connected to the moon, you know, like, me and Moon are, like, we're, like, best buddies, we're, like, sisters, you know, like, you ain't got that, you know, like, you might have that, like, a little bit, because you have a lot of water in your body, too, you know, your psyche might get affected, but, like, hey, you know, I have a moon cycle right in my belly, can you say that? Hell no, but, you know, it's not a competition, though, because we are all born with this innate ability, like, you know, like, masculine men, they have their own, gifts as much as we women do, you know? So yeah, going back to menstrual cycle and its creative process. So if you look at it, right, so it's a very like creative, it's a very like birth, preservation, death cycle. So if you're not having baby, like, so yeah, like the ultimate truth, like, I mean, I think the biological sense of, you know, why it's that to bring life, baby into like the world, but think of it in a symbolic sense, right, to bring life. It's a creativity. It doesn't also have to be limited to a baby, though. You know, like me personally, like I'm a creative person. I like to create a lot of things, you know, hence, like, look at this video. Like, it's a creative process. And I write a lot. I'm always, like, I make my own products. And I'm always doing some DIYs, always trying to, like, create something. Like, people who know me know that I'm, like, always trying to, like, create something. So I use the same, like, this essence is like whatever's going on in my body every 28 cycle, this creative cycle, right? I use it to my own advantage. So that means if it's a creative process going on in my body, so my body's having this energetic, this energetic, this combination, this energies of creation, you know, like creation, preservation, death going on. I think of it in a way as like, okay, so if I'm trying to create something, like I said in my last video too, right? Any one of you go check that out. Like, I'm all about working smart, not hard. You know, like finding any ways to kind of like finding ways to go with the flow rather than against the flow. So you're kind of like using that energy to your advantage. You know, energy savings plan, 101. So if I have this innate creative cycle going on in my body every 28, you know, every 28 days, so I'm always I try to find ways to kind of like go with it, right? So if for example, so my eggs being released, it's, you know, it's going through this, like, you know, it's like increasing, it's preserving, it's like dying, and I try to like, as women, we know when you get your period, and you know when your eggs being released, because when you get your period, from that moment, you know, like after your period is gone, you know, you stop bleeding. That's the first week is like your creative thing. That's when your egg gets, you know, like your new egg starts to be born, right? And the second week is, you know, it starts to develop, it starts to like kind of like that's your, whatchamacallit, second week is kind of like most fertile, you know, like that's a time when you're like not on birth control and you're like, you know, using you're like using condoms and like with natural birth control as like a mean of like herbs and whatever as like a mean of natural birth control. That's the week you're gonna be like very careful, because that's your most fertile time. So that's your most fertile time, you know, more like in a symbolic sense, that's the most creative time. And the third week your body tries to be like, okay, like, you know, like tries to like prepare itself to like degenerate, like to destroy. And the fourth week is like, you know, you're like that's when you start to like let go and you bleed, right? So that's your process. So me knowing that, I mean, me like, and then you keeping track of your own cycle, that's another like great thing. If I keep tracks of my cycle, I mean, one way is like, you know, when there's any imbalance and there's anything going on, like me knowing myself, it only serves me, right? It doesn't like do any damage. Like, you know, me knowing like when I'm bleeding and what's happening in my body is not gonna like kill me, you know, it only serves me. So yeah, so we keeping track of that, like me knowing like when I'm most fertile, aka when I'm most creative, when I'm starting that creative process, when I'm at the most optimal, when it's like being destroyed, I naturally like me knowing like my energetic like level, what's already in my body, what the flow of my cycle, I then can better use that cycle to my advantage. For example, I'm like birthing the egg, like, so that's like my egg is being birthed, and that's when I start to generate ideas. When I'm starting something, a project or something, like when I start around that time, I know like I'm going with the flow. I mean, not to say I always wait till like, okay, I'm gonna start something, okay, oh shit, I'm bleeding right now, no, I need to wait till like 2 weeks. Like, no, like, world doesn't, wait for your menstrual cycle. I wish it did, but it doesn't happen that way, unfortunately. But not to say that, but like, if I can, if something personal, if I can, like, wait till that, or like optimally, I like look for times, like when I'm trying to start something, whatever, like energetic, that's when I generate ideas. And the second week, whatever, like that's when my ideas gets like more like, like it becomes more fertile. So whatever I do, like I start to like align my process, like my creative process and my like bodily process and my like whatever I'm doing, I try to like align with it. I mean, as best as I can. I mean, like I said, the world doesn't wait for your creative cycle. I wish it did, but if I can, like I try to do it as much as I can. And I know the more I do it, like I add that punch of energetic punch, It's like, let's say there's soil that's very rich in nutrients, that's like, that's like manure, and you have a lot of like cattle and stuff in the backyard, they run around, it's like, full of their feces, which is very nutritious, and stuff. So you're trying to plant something, so it's like putting like seeds in that environment compared to somewhere, like that's just been dry and no nutrition, whatever. Like, I mean, still, like, you're gonna like and then you like, put water and stuff, and it's still like the plant, if you put seed and then put water in it in a soil, like it's gonna produce a plant regardless, right? It's inevitable. But the trick that lies behind is that the environment, the property, the energetic property of the environment. So if you put it in a richer soil, you're gonna produce a plant that's like healthy, more healthy plant. It's gonna, and then you're giving it a naturally energetic chance, more of a chance for it to produce more fertile, more plants. You're making that environment more fertile for it to have the highest possibility for it to be the best version of it possible, compared to you putting it in an environment that's not so fertile, not so nutritious, whatever. So that's the basic principle behind it. It's going to produce a plant either way. Just like, you doing anything, like any type of the cycle, whatever, like it's going to like happen. You're going to produce it. But the trick behind it is how nutritious it is. The nutritious the soil, the better the plant. Just like if you go with the flow and knowing your energetic balance and knowing when to do what, and then, kind of like that's the whole point behind like alchemy, doing the right thing at the right time at the right place. You produce something of more of its essence than just something. It's like producing something for the sake of producing, than producing something that's worth having, that has that added punch, that's the best version of itself. So there you go. I'm all about quality versus quantity. So I do this because I'm all about quality versus quantity. So I'm just telling you guys like what I do and what I know and what I embody and what I believe to be the wisdom of the earth in this. If it resonates with you, go ahead. If it doesn't, you just like screw this. I am waiting till the 14th day of my cycle to start this ish. You don't have to, but if you can, that's the whole point behind it. But if you don't want to, still go right ahead. Do you, boo boo. Like I said, I'm all about living the life you want to. I like to share my personal truth behind it, because you never know who it resonates with, like even if it encourages or like gives an idea to someone, I'm happy, because that's the whole point of sharing your wisdom, sharing your personal truth, because you never know who is going to inspire. So moral behind this story is that always share your personal expression, personal truth, because you never know who you're making a difference to. But yes, so going back to the menstrual cycle. So yeah, so that's like, so you knowing your energetic balance of your body and then doing things at a certain time, right? So, and then when my egg is being like, when my uterus is being like destroyed, and then I'm bleeding, and then I'm like letting go, that's the phase of the moon. That's like, That's in the waxing, waning. I think it's the waning, right? I always confuse those two. What's waxing, and waning, which is the increasing, decreasing. I think the waning is the decreasing. So the waning cycle. So think of it as a symbolic term. When the moon wanes, it decreases. It's also, like, that's another thing I also pay attention to. I'm very connected to the moon. I love the moon. I love, like I said, she's like my sister. So when the moon, like, decreases, that's also from a natural energetic, like, not just for women, for everybody too. Like, that's a great time energetically to focus on, like, letting go aspect, letting go of, like, things that doesn't serve you, habits, like, whatever, like, it's energetically, it's like your life is giving you that chance, high energetic chance to, like, do this. It's like telling you, like, if you do this at this time, it has more of a punch than if you do it another time. Whether you want to listen to it or not, it's your call, it's your choice. But it's kind of like your life is giving you that chance every month, I guess. And then when the moon is increasing, that's a great time. That's a great time of the month, a great time of the moon cycle to start a project, generate a project. That's also the village I come from. Like, there's a belief that to cut your hair, like, it's a great time. It's energetically, like, it's better to do it, and when the moon is increasing, because naturally, like, you're adding the energy punch of, like, think about it, right? When you cut it, and you want it to grow, of course. Like, I mean, if you don't want it to grow, I mean, that's your personal preference. But if you want it to grow longer, you're talking to somebody who loves, like, hair growth and, like, who loves, like, all these crazy curls. So if you want it to grow after you cut it, so you might want to, like, it's better to do it when the moon's increasing, because you're actually adding that natural essence, natural energy punch of, the increasing energy behind it. So, yeah, so there you go. But yeah, so the same principle, going back to your menstrual cycle, when you're bleeding, when you're on that decreasing side of your menstrual cycle, like, I naturally, as, like, I'm a very sensitive person, like, not to say it in a bad, because I used to hate it, because I'm like I get hurt easily, like things affect me deeply, and, like, in a sense, I feel things very deeply. Like, when I'm happy, I'm really happy. When I'm sad, I'm really sad. I used to hate that about me, because it's not always, like, think about it, man. Like, it's not always fucking, like, freaking best to, like, feel things on a deep level when, like, like, things affect you, like, more than other people. But then the more I start to, like I said, embrace and then see the gifts behind it, I was just like, it's amazing, because me being sensitive means I feel things on a deeper level, not just what happens to me on, like, experience and whatever. Like I'm more connected to people's, like, energy, like, energetic. What does sensitive mean, right? Sensitive meaning that I'm not closed off to the life, to nature, to life. Like, I feel things more. When I'm with people too, like, even when people doesn't, like, talk a lot or something, like, it's like I feel people more, like, and that's why I connect with animals a lot, because animals can't talk, right? But that's okay, because, like, when you understand somebody or, like, something on an energetic level, you feel what they feel, you can connect to them energetically. There's no need for verbal communication. I mean, I'm a person all about communication, so yes, don't just come to me and be like, okay, I'm gonna shut up, feel me. Like, nah, talk to me, dude, talk to me. You know how much communication matters to me. But I'm just saying that, like, me being sensitive, it gives me, like, the more I start understanding the gift behind it, I started looking at it as, like, a blessing, not a curse, So yeah, so naturally, when I'm on that, like, decreasing side of my, like, menstruation cycle, about to, like, bleed, that's when I'm naturally, like more inclined to, like, things of, like, letting go. I'm more introspective. I get more introspective than the other side of the cycle, and I naturally incline towards things to, like, let go, like, what doesn't serve me, like, within myself, around me, and I naturally gravitate towards that, and it serves a purpose for me. And yes, so this is the natural wisdom I believe and I embody of your menstrual cycle, that is of the moon.